All right, so now we're going to start the formal part of the meeting. So we're going to run through the AGM, and then we're going to go into overviews, and then we'll do a presentation, and then we'll get into the company highlights. Right, so I got my script. All right, I would like to call this meeting to order. The time is 3:11 p.m. on Thursday, June 16th, 2022. My name is Felzal Lee, and as the president of Vantech Entrepreneurs VCC Fund, Inc., DBA eFund, and with the consent of the meeting, I will be your chairman for this annual general meeting. With the consent of the meeting, I ask that Peter Dorsman act as recording secretary and scrutineer of the meeting. If there are any shareholders of the corporation present who have not registered, please do so now. Okay. The notice calling this meeting together with the financial statements was mailed to the shareholders. I am advised by our scrutineer that there is a quorum present.
That's correct.
Scrutineer says that's correct. I direct that the scrutineer's report be kept with and annexed to the minutes of this meeting. As we have a quorum of shareholders present, I now declare the meeting to be properly called and duly constituted for the transaction of business. I refer you to item 1 of the notice of the meeting respecting the annual audited financial statements for the period ending December 31, 2021, that was mailed to all shareholders of the corporation. I will declare them to be received by shareholders as submitted to the meeting. I refer you to the next item of business set out in the notice of meeting, calling to accept the appointment of auditors for the ensuing year. I ask for a motion for that the shareholders accept the appointment of Manning Elliott LLP as auditors. Someone please move. Thank you, Roger. Thank you, Frank, for seconding. Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Thank you very much. Items 3 and 4 of the notice of meeting relate to the election of directors. It has been proposed to fix the number of directors for the ensuing year at 3 directors, who will hold office until the next annual general meeting of the corporation or until a successor is appointed. Can I please have a motion to that effect? Thank you, Andrew, and thank you, Frank, for seconding. All those in favor? Carried. Notice that I didn't give you any chance for discussion. Election of directors. Management nominees to the board of directors are Felzal Lee, Peter Dorsman, and George Alexieris. I now ask for a motion that all of the named nominees for election to the board of directors be elected directors of the corporation for the next year to hold office until the next annual general meeting unless they cease to be directors before then. Someone move, please. Okay, I saw Stanley and Philippe. Thank you very much. Any discussion? All right, all those in favor? Opposed? Carried. I declare that Felzal Lee, Peter Dorsman, and George Alexieris have been duly elected as directors of the corporation until the next annual general meeting, unless they cease to be a director before then. Congratulations to you both. Thank you. It'd be great working with you. Any further business? I believe we have now concluded the formal business set out in the notice of meeting. Unless there is any further business, I now ask for a motion that the meeting be terminated. Someone move. Frank. Thank you, Mike. Ronberg. Any discussion? All those in favor? Okay, carried. I declare that the meeting is concluded. There you go, people. That was the formal bit. Okay, we'll go right into the overview of the eFund. And what I'm going to talk about is who we are and how we fit into the community. Then we'll hear from Peter, who will talk about the performance of our fund. And then finally, we'll have George MC all the company updates. So I will now share the screen with our PowerPoint. And there we go. Okay, so we had our AGM. We're doing a presentations. Afterwards is networking. Those of you online, you're not being ignored. Jackson is here to do the online networking with the random breakout rooms, which we all know and love. Okay, we've done that. Okay, just to give a refresher course, we invest clearly in the seed round. We don't invest late, we don't invest early, but it's after friends and family and just before venture capital. I put this up because you guys all seen it, but I just want to emphasize that we are a community fund. We really work with everybody in the community, and we work to strengthen that that continuum of funding. So what we've been doing for the past 12 months, you can see that we've been cooperating with Angel Forum, Capital Investment Network, Syndicate, Keiretsu Forum, Bantech, Victoria Vipers, and Women's Equity Lab. We play with a lot of people in the ecosystem. That's how we have been able to look at 216 presentations during this year. We've selected 66 to do some pre-due diligence. That was the funnel that you saw, or just before the formal part of the AGM. And then we had 14 formal due diligence, and we made investments in 11 companies. More on these numbers from Peter. Who are we? You know, almost 30% of us are women. And almost 30% of us live outside the Lower Mainland. So we're really a diverse group. So we should give ourselves a pat on the back for that. How we invest, okay, we are 182 investors, and between 182 of us, we have collectively made 303 investments into eFund through all 5 funds, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now, it's really interesting that almost 40% of us are repeat investors, because almost 40% of us have invested in 1, 2 or more funds. And if you look across, you can see that we've been fewer of us invest in 3 or more, or 4 or more. And of course, there's a select few of us that invested in all 5. So we're active investors. And we've invested in all of these companies. So you'll hear more about them from Peter, and of course from the company updates at the end of this. And we're very diverse also in our portfolio. Okay, great. We'll move on. But just the bottom line, I just want to let you know that we're all part of this community. And the reason that we're doing so well, which Peter will be telling you about our performance, is because we all work together. It's not all on the directors, George, Peter, and myself, but we really involve all of you. Okay, with that, I think you guys are pretty anxious to hear how the performance figures are, and I'm going to call up Peter.
Okay, so everyone can see that, and this is a slide I put up last year to see how we were doing throughout the pandemic. And as you can see, we raised quite a bit of money, capital raised from January to June in the first year of the pandemic, but that trend actually continued. And if you look at the beginning of the pandemic and where we are at the end of March, we more than doubled the amount of money that we raised. Even better, the fund value, the actual market value of our investment doubled as well. So we've been around for a little over 10 years, almost 11 years. And in this last 2 years, we actually got going with everything. If you think about it in terms of performance and the way we raise money from an ever widening number of shareholders. Can you do the next slide? So I was at a collision conference in Lisbon, and the market was going crazy. We have one unicorn in our portfolio, Samuel's, $1 billion company. And actually at this conference, you could actually climb on a unicorn and have your photo taken. It was just about sort of going crazy about making it. And you don't see it on the photo, but there was a whole line of people who wanted to climb on the unicorn and get their photo taken. It was non-stop action there. But it was sort of telling you where the market was. If you can go to the next slide, you will see where the market was, right? The NASDAQ over the pandemic period sort of went to insane record heights. And over the last few months, we've completely tumbled into the gutter. I don't know if you looked at your screen this morning, but it was bloody red on my screen. And it's likely that that's going to continue for a while. So we're in a challenging environment for tech companies, and that always filters down to sort of the lower levels or the private levels with early stage companies where we operate. So Jackson, if you can go to the next slide. So what does that mean, right? So there was extreme liquidity in the markets. We had high and unrealistic valuation, I think. And now there's less liquidity. People go to the sidelines. They take a break from investing. What's good for us in a way is there's going to be a reset in valuations, and I'm going to have to do some price adjustments in the portfolio. And I've got an interesting example of that coming up. But in my experience, I've been here before, and I know many of you as well. If I look at the average age in our group, we'll get out of this. And I think for technology in particular, there's good days ahead, because everything that we're seeing happening, from the war in Ukraine, from energy conversion to supply chain challenges, technology plays a very important role. So we'll keep innovating and we'll keep investing. We just have to be a bit more careful and do more solid due diligence and negotiate the terms and see where we go from here. So it's an interesting time, but for startups themselves, and that's, if you look at our portfolio, we're going to get the updates. Thank God, a lot of them raised a lot of money, so they are good to make it through the storm. If a startup runs out of cash and has to raise money now, it's going to be very difficult. But our portfolio, I think, is in overall, a few exceptions there, but overall in good shape. You can go to the next slide, Jackson. Thank you. So the fund performance was good. I'll put this in this was to the end of March. In a few weeks' time, I'll produce the Q2 report that will cover the period till the end of June this month. So I haven't finalized that just yet because we're still doing some transactions. But you can see that the fund has done quite well, in particular eFund 1 that started over 10 years ago, and then eFund 2, 3, 4, and 5. You see the performance going down a little bit because they've been around for a shorter period of time. But healthy returns in terms of the portfolio value, the money that we've paid out, and together that constitutes the value of 13.77 million that I've assigned as a value to the business now. And if you look at it overall, we've tripled the size of the fund. But if you look at eFund 1, for instance, that return is much higher because of companies like Samuel's and Red. So I think we can be pleased about the performance so far. I'll expect some adjustments in the value of the fund based on what's happening in the market. But for now, I think we're in good shape. You go to the next slide, Jackson. So I was doing I did this, I think 2 years ago, to explain to people how well you do in eFund if you hang on for a long time. So I've picked investor A, right? So that person invested $10,000 in 2011, right? $10,000 gone, right? So that's follow the red line, follow the red numbers. Then a few months later, the tax credit comes in. So that person is $7,000 out. Then We had an exit with Bluebet, got a little bit of money back, not a lot. Then Solgear came, about $1,500 back, so it becomes interesting. And then we had Mazza. So at that point, about 6-7 years in, half of the money is back. But then things start to change. Remember that we sold a piece of Semios, not everything, it's a very small piece. And investor A, who's holding the B shares, got $8,000 back, 9,000 actually, and is in the plus all of a sudden. Last year we had Redland, so there's another check coming out of Redland. So at that point, more, the investor earned his money back and a return, and on an IRR basis, 9%, which actually, if you think about it, is not that bad. But there's another $200,000 in value in that B share. That's Semios, that's Imstar, which is now called Enerchem, and there's 1 or 2 Optimos in there. So there's still quite a bit of value in there that needs to be paid out. If you calculate the IRR on that, that's like 37%. So this, of course, is for eFund 1. But if you think about extrapolate it to all the other funds, it goes to my age-old argument. If you're in the fund for 8, 9, 10 years, you will start seeing very good results and a good return on your investment. Boosted, of course, by the tax credit. So I think it's a good story. And so if you want to reinvest again, you have to look at these numbers and say, well, over a longer period of time, it actually starts to pay back because have good companies. And eFund 1, we weren't even that experienced. We just started doing this, right? If you look at what's in eFund 5, for instance, in terms of quality companies, it's a different story. And we're closing eFund 5, I think, in November. Also end of October. Yeah, so there is room still to get into eFund 5. Next slide, please. So what are the top performers? Now, the top performers are Semios, of course, Finn, we have Redland in there. Penny, you're going to see a video of Penny AI. They just closed a $27 million round with a number of US firms. So all of a sudden, they became a 7x return on our very small investment. That was during the days that we didn't have that much cash in the bank. We only invested 35K, but good return. And then Vitamin Lab is doing well, Aspect and Cubo. So I'm going to talk a little bit about how the market is changing. So if you look at VIN, right? So I said a few months ago that they were doing a financing for $100 million pre-money valuation with Innovia, right? In 2 tranches. So based on that, our value in VIN is 18 times return for the first investment, 12 times return for the second investment. Now the market changed as we were, as they were closing that deal. So I got word about a week ago that the second tranche was not done at a $100 million valuation, but at a $30 million pre-money valuation. So all of a sudden, it was technically, so the question is that a down round or not, right? Or it's still part of the same round. So I guess what has happened, I know what has happened. Innovia said, well, we invested way too much at 100 million or at too high a level. We need a 30% discount. So if you take 100 million and 30 million, it averages out as a 65 million pre-money. But that's a game changer right there. So the 17 and 12 times for eFund drops down to around 5 or 5 and 3 times. Still, we're ahead. We're still making money. Technically it's a $65 million company, but I had to put the value at 30 because that was the last investment was done at which it was done. Luckily, I think it's still a good news story, right? They got more than $20 million in the bank. So, but you can see what happened, right? The crazy valuations are going out of the window, and VCs are sort of reacting to that as they speak and renegotiate a deal. Sorry, guys, the market has changed. You're going to take a lower number. Interesting, right? Next slide, please. There you have it. See, it's animated. So it was 17.9, now 5.5, 12 becomes 3.7. It's still in the top performing list, but it's a lot lower than only 2 months ago. Next slide, please. So this is what we've done. We had an exit with Redland, new investments in LetHub and HTUO, a lot of reinvestments. We have to write off Arbutus. So that was a discussion I had with the auditors, and I said, I'm not too sure. There may be some life in it. And they said, Peter, based on what you told me, it's a write-off. If we write off companies, it's not a bad thing because that reduces actually the taxability of the dividends you get. So I can sort of give you a fair tax treatment. You got your Redland checks, and the amount of tax payable on that was qualified for a Canadian dividend was very low because we had some write-offs and some expenses. So it's great to work with Manning Elliott to get that tax advice. So, we had to write off Arbutus. few companies on the watch list. The expense ratio, if you look at in the audited statements that are expenses and you take out the payments, the performance payments for Redland, we spent about 1.4% on costs, and that's mostly accounting, a bit of legal, and a bit of marketing, like the event today. And we're now in eFund 5. We're using Odyssey as our trustee shareholder register office. So that's going very well. And that costs a bit of money, but I think we spend very little if you think about it, given the size of our fund. Next one, 2022. So you can just click through until everything turns up. So what we've done so far, we've reinvested. Oh, one back, please. We've reinvested in Mesentech, Claris, Vitamin Lab, and this week in Barrelwise, and new companies, and we'll hear from most of them: Solaires, Care to Talk, VoxCell, Agility, Total Flow, and Frontly. So we keep diversifying the portfolio with what I think are good companies. Next slide, please, and that's my last one, I believe. So admin fees. So we've never really charged a shareholders fees, but as we grow, I'm getting more and more requests for people who want to sell their shares to someone else, re-register their shares. So we're going to have to start charging for that because it's legal work. There's some accounting time involved. You have to work with Odyssey to swap out share certificates. So if you want to re-register your shares to an RSP or TFSA, or you want to put it in someone else's name, that's fine. It's going to cost you a little bit. If you want to sell your shares, then we have to charge for that as well. We had one shareholder liquidate his holdings in eFund 1, and he had a lot of proceeds out of that. So the 1200 was not an issue. But if there's special requests that something has to happen with your shares for tax reasons, or we have 2 people in the fund who've recently deceased. Some extra work, we have to figure out what the cost is. But we cannot keep covering these costs as eFund. So just so you're aware, and that takes effect from July 1st. So and that's, I think, what I did. And then I'll hand it over to George, who's going to talk you through the video updates. But unless there are any questions, sorry, I'm going very fast. Any questions or concerns?
Somebody rebrand VoxCell Medical.
Sorry, is it?
Somebody rebrand, change their name to VoxCell Medical.
No.
So, okay.
No, that's their logo. Okay, well, you know where to find me. I know some of you have expressed interest in reinvesting or doing anything. Just contact me. I'm happy to help you with all financial and legal stuff. And I'll hand it over to George. And we're going to walk through the.
All right, so October 1, we're going to be opening eFund 6. October 31st, we're closing eFund 5. So during the month of October, if you choose to make another investment into eFund, you can choose to put it all in eFund 5 or all in eFund 6, or split any way you want between the 2 of them. And I think that will help diversify our portfolio. So now I'm going to hand it over to George, who's going to talk about our diversified portfolio. Yes, question. eFund 5, I don't have a very good memory, but if you go to our website and click on portfolio.
It's in the written report.
Yeah, it's in the written report, and you can also go to the website and click on portfolio, and you'll see all the companies there. Any other questions? Yes, Philippe.
You want me to read them?
Okay, Philippe, you have to come up here to read them.
HTUO BioScience, Green AI Tech, Lucent BioSciences, Mazuma Go Banking, Solaires Biotechnology, Sonic Insight, Vitamin 1 Formulas, Bill Automotive.
Okay. Yes, Mina.
Did you say invest in October?
Yes, you may. Yes, if you invest during the month of October, you can choose to put all of your investment in 5, or all of it in 6, or split however you wish between the 2 of them.
When's the deadline?
Fund 5 will close October 31st. Okay, now I'll hand it over to George to talk about our diversified portfolio.
Thanks, Isel. All right. Now we've got some videos. So this time we
had the companies record videos for us because it's more manageable, especially when you're doing a hybrid event. So Penny AI is the first one. And again, that just closed the financing, which was great news.
Since day one at Penny, my co-founder Chris and I have been saying that every day is a big day, and today is especially big. Today, we're beyond excited and incredibly proud to announce that we've raised $27 million in our Series B funding round.
Ever since we started our company here in beautiful Squamish, British Columbia, our mission has been clear: to empower social sellers to get one more sale.
The direct sales industry pioneered social selling long before social was even really a thing. And now we're witnessing a people-powered retail revolution. Each day that passes, customers are shifting their buying from brands, brick and mortar, and e-commerce to mega, micro, and even nano influencers who are bringing about the era of social commerce.
Because of this shift, our mission is more important than ever. With more and more people turning to social selling, the demand for personalization at scale technology is at its highest. So we want to continue supporting every seller's success, no matter their background, skill set, or goals.
Raising $27 million is an incredible milestone for everyone at Penny. It's the start of the next chapter, where we have the privilege of creating new technologies that play a role in the success of every social seller that trusts Penny and the social selling movement as a whole.
We're thrilled to share that our new friends and partners at PSG led our funding round alongside Acronym Capital and Scale Up Ventures, who have been with us since day one. We're so excited they joined us on this journey to expand Penny into the key areas social sellers need to support, to grow, and really protect their quality of life.
With the support of our investors, we're excited to take the next step. Our focus will be on 4 key areas. Firstly, every day, hundreds of thousands of new sellers around the world start their social selling journey, and a lot don't actually have the sales or marketing background. For scalability, success, and business growth, we're delivering an in-app solution so sellers can build their business while upskilling in the flow of work. We've added PhD talent and a learning design team to develop the best learning resources for social selling, and create a learning platform within Penny that's designed for the way adults actually learn, so sellers can develop key skills required to build their businesses and see results.
With a global distributed sales force, it's hard to gather and access actionable insights for our corporate teams and individual sellers. We're expanding the data team and hiring multiple data scientists to provide real-time business insights so sellers, leaders, and corporate teams can see at a glance how their businesses are performing and easily decide what's the next best action.
Right now in the social selling space, there's a huge gap between product discovery and transaction, but that's about to change. Later this year, we'll be releasing an instant selling experience that everyone will love no matter what social network they're in. In the social commerce era, we want to give everyone the tools to create an exceptional customer experience no matter how big or small their network is.
And finally, over the past 3 years, we've gone from David and I to a team of 100 incredibly talented individuals.
So amazing.
We're so proud to say that we have one of the highest percentages of female engineers in Canada. At 57%, we're 2 times the industry average. The technology we built is awesome, but what makes Penny so great is our people. And to support the next growth, you guys can guess it, we're hiring.
Absolutely we are. So finally, we want to say thank you. From our very early angel investors, to our first few users, to our amazing customers and partners, the incredible Vancouver tech community, the C100, and every one of the cheerleaders on the sidelines rooting for us to win, we can't say it enough. Thank you. It's your support, your feedback, and your love that make building Penny in a beautiful place like Squamish such a dream. So thank you, and as always, make every day a big day.
All right. Great update.
But what's happening with Lucent? So some important milestones we've achieved is, first of all, we raised close to $12 million in the last 12 months, which is a great achievement. Thank you everyone who participated and invested in our company. We obtained $7 million in government grants to build a commercial plant. I'll talk about that a little bit more soon. In addition to this partnership with AGT Foods, we finished last year over 70 trials, and this year we're doing almost close to 100 trials across Canada and United States. We built a 10-ton-a-day pilot facility in Humboldt, Saskatchewan to produce product for this season and also to prepare for our further scale up. And then we produced 50 tons of product that we're able to sell, put in farmers' hands. We're looking to produce more for the fall season, and we're expecting to sell between 350 and 500 tons, which is significantly more than the 200 tons that we had in mind initially. And then finally, we have been able to bring on 8 ag distributors and 6 global ag input companies to work with our product and our company to bring this to the market. Now, there's a lot to celebrate. Last month, there was the big announcement of Protein Industries Canada, in which they announced the $7 million grant that they provided to us. This event was presented by the Federal Minister of Agriculture, and also the Saskatchewan Minister of Agriculture was present, in addition to all of our team and AGT Food. So that was a great announcement. Lots of press. You can find more on our Twitter feed. But on top of that, Senator Klein of Saskatchewan promoted or celebrated Lucent in Parliament in front of everybody who was there last week, and announced the grant and the importance of this technology and investment for Canada. So that was a great promotion. Now, what's happening is in Rosetown, Saskatchewan, is where we're building this commercial plant. The objective is to get it ready by the end of this year. This is an existing plant that's being repurposed for our use, and it's being granted by AGT Foods to us. The project size in total is 90 million, and we got 7 million from Protein Industries Canada. And the facility will be producing 20 tons a day, or close to 7,000 tons per year. So keep in mind that 2 years ago, we were only able to produce 1 kilogram a day. And by the end of this year, we will be manufacturing at a rate of 20,000 kilograms a day. So that's a huge scale up. The opportunity here is that we can bring this to 5 other facilities from AGT across the globe. So that's a great opportunity. Now, how can you help us? Number one, please follow us on Twitter at Solaires. We also just published a great white paper about how Solaires and ag can fit in a circular economy. So maybe take a screenshot of this and download it, share it on your social media and with anyone who may find this interesting. And then we're looking to do a Series A early next year. We're starting the outreach in the fall. So any institutional investors that can participate in an investment that is like in the $20 million range, that are focused on either impact or ag, please provide us with an intro. And finally, any food processing companies outside of Canada that you know of that process grains, for instance, please connect us, because they could be our next licensees.
Hi, I'm Hilary Pierce, CEO of Total Flow Medical, and we are a Vancouver-based medical device company with products to eliminate injury and death caused by the equipment used to keep patients alive when they need the use of a heart-lung machine. So our key performance metrics to date include completing 2 development builds of our products, evaluating 6 design iterations in total. And this month, we're actually starting the 3rd development build of our product. We have also set up in-house testing in order to help expedite our device development process. We have been expanding our physician network in order to increase our ability to have great user feedback to incorporate into our designs. We have also filed our patent applications in the US, Europe, and Canada, as well as additional provisional filings. And we have engaged external regulatory expertise. So Fernando Agual actually used to head the division we're working with in the FDA. And we're working together to prepare our next pre-sub meeting with the FDA in this next quarter. Reasons to celebrate definitely include closing our oversubscribed seed financing last month. So with this, we brought on 24 new investors, which provides us with at least 18 months of runway and capital to achieve FDA clearance of our first product, femoral arterial cannula for use in cardiac surgery. So we raised $4.1 million US, and we were targeting $3.5 million US. Our asks for you today is that we're continuing to look for introductions to US-based cardiac surgeons. This is to continue to build our network and obtain user feedback as we get closer to commercializing our device. Thanks so much.
Hello, everyone. I'm Carolina. I'm the CEO and CSO of VoxCell, one of the eFund portfolio companies. So I'm here before I start talking about the impact of the eFund that eFund had on VoxCell. I want to just take 1 minute to show you what we are doing at VoxCell. And VoxCell is creating fully vascularized human-like cancer tissue models, and we do that by combining our bioprinter, our vascularization software, and our proprietary bioinks. And our tissue models will be applied to the drug development process, and they will offer a lot of benefits over the conventional platforms since they have blood vessels. The drugs can then be injected to these blood vessels, mimicking what happens inside of the human body. Our tissues will be able to identify inviable candidates earlier in the drug development process. And we also want to get to a point in which our tissue models are so complex that we can reduce the initial tests done in animal models. So since eFund got involved with us and became our lead investor for this round, a lot of milestones were reached. One of them is actually getting to a point in which we were able to have enough funding to create our minimal viable product and to engage with meaningful conversations with pharmaceutical companies and CROs out there. So we were able to talk to Novartis, Johnson & Johnson, PRA, GSK, and many other pharmaceutical companies. On top of that, we are also on track to put our current printer in a capabilities of printing 1,000 tissue models a month and able to generate $4.2 million in revenue from just one machine. And of course, once eFund committed with us, we were able to raise more money, and VoxCell is, as of right now, have $840,000 US fully committed to this round, which has been absolutely fantastic. So a lot of good news. VoxCell has also been top 1 on the 51 Her Story competition. We are moving to round 3 of New Ventures VC. So there's a lot of wins coming. And on top of it, from eFund, we also have amazing advisors such as Alvin Chubbs and Nina Villani that is on our board. So I just want to thank eFund for all the time invested on us, all the patience, and of course for the funding invested on us that made a very big difference with VoxCell. And I guess my request right now is spread the word, keep spreading the word about VoxCell and about how we want to accelerate life-saving therapies getting to the market sooner and to the hands of people that need it. And thank you so much, eFund. Bye. Have a good day.
Ibbaka helps companies design their value model, their pricing model, and then make sure they have the skills in place to deliver on how they are going to market.
So really, it is about driving growth and having evidence for that growth. So many of the firms that we work with are also feeling a lot of pressure to reach those growth objectives and demonstrating them in the metrics. As such, we're often dealing with the C-level suite.
We've seen the numbers that drive our business improve dramatically. The average contract size has nearly doubled. The subscription ratio, which is the percentage of revenues driven by subscriptions, has started to climb from about 10% last year up past 20%, and our pipeline has grown dramatically from about $900,000 at the end of December to $2.6 million at the end of March, and it has continued to grow this quarter so that it is close to 2.8 million now.
One of the other exciting things is that the investment into the value pricing dashboard has really paid off.
The value pricing dashboard is really at the center of our strategy. It's a software platform that allows us to deliver our value propositions around the value model, the pricing model, and the skills through software. So we are delivering what used to be delivered as consulting services through a subscription-based software platform.
And our customers love it because they finally have a way to measure the value that they're delivering, as well as articulate and communicate that value so that they can really ensure that their lifetime value of their customer increases over time as well.
We created Ibbaka Performance out of TeamFit and Ibbaka at 23 cents a share, and we are currently successfully raising money at 50 cents a share.
And really, the way that we are increasing value for the company is to drive sales. Also, another way that we're increasing the value of our company is to invest in our technology, our intellectual property, as well as the process in which we drive the value for the firm. And so these are the core investments that we're making.
So our exit strategy is, first of all, to grow the company to more than 10 million in revenue. One exit is to companies in the CRM market, such as Salesforce and HubSpot, who need to extend their product offerings to include value and pricing. Another possible exit is with the big heavy metal pricing companies, such as Pros and PriceFX, and Ibbaka already has a strong partnership with PriceFX. A third possible route to exit is by sale to one of the major consulting firms, such as Simon Kucher Partner, who we compete with quite a bit for pricing deals, or a McKinsey or a Deloitte, who are trying to solve the problem that Ibbaka is solving.
So really the focus that we're really asking for eFund at this time is we really do want to close this round of financing. And so we are asking eFund, of course, to participate, as well as offer this investment round to its members, as well as extend the investment to others in their circle. We really appreciate the opportunity to bring this investment to the eFund community, and we really look forward to following up with anyone on a one-to-one basis with any questions to go deeper.
Good morning, eFund investors. My name is George Shelley, founder of Care to Talk Technology. Just wanted to first thank everyone for believing in Care to Talk and investing in this current round. So much appreciated, and thanks again for adding this value to our cap table. A couple highlights. Our biggest one right now, we end up closing just over $1 million in funding, and this will help go towards building our team and launching our telehealth component in mid-July. So super excited about that. Another high level from a government standpoint, $61 million have been injected into the Ministry of Senior Care, which translates into about 3,000 communities will have the ability to take part of this funding and add technology towards their care communities. That includes, telehealth, that includes connectivity, that includes Wi-Fi upgrades. So super excited about that. The other highlight again is our telehealth. So we have a medical director in Victoria that'll be launching it side with us. And we also have our partners at Trillium Health in Mississauga that participated in this round. Plus, they'll be helping launch our telehealth side in Ontario in September. As far as an accelerator go, we're almost graduating from a new chip accelerator. So this will help launch us into the next round of fundraising. So they'll help do intros and have a soft injection of cash as well. So super excited about that, alongside with Techstars coming up. So As far as an ask point, I appreciate anyone that does intros, if it's towards senior care or telehealth or partnerships that will help leverage our technologies and fundamentally make a difference in seniors' lives, part of the isolation depression that keeps on going on with our senior care. So that's my ask. I love intros. I'll respond same day. So I appreciate the help and support. If anyone knows anybody that can help leverage CareTalk technologies. And thanks again for your time and your investment. I'll keep you updated on our monthly newsletters. Thanks again. All the best.
I'm happy to share some of the highlights of our past year with you. We recently, in the past week, moved into our new office at the Generator, where we now have a shared established office space as we were accepted into this year's cohort. We're very happy to welcome any visitors who would like to come and check out what we're working on, or if you just want to see our new space. On the product side, we've mainly moved past our initial focus on the R&D, and we're now focusing on the parameterization and validation of our platform with the anticipation of our MVP being ready in the coming months. On the marketing side, we've established connections to 2 of the top 5 pharma companies, as well as 2 of the top 15 worldwide pharma companies. And we're about to embark on a larger marketing push to better understand our product market fit, as well as establish the relationship with other potential customers. We recently participated in the Life Science BC Investor Readiness Program, from which we graduated this spring. We were very happy to participate in that program, and it has led us with a lot of contacts and help in the industry, which has been a fantastic experience. We also completed our fundraising at the end of April. That gave us $1.5 million US, which is oversubscribed from our initial ask. In terms of funding, we've also received IRAP. We've completed our first IRAP project and have now embarked on our second, which is up to 150,000 Canadian. And we're grateful for the support from the IRAP program. We've also transformed a little bit in terms of hiring. We've gone from being 3 people when we first met last year to being 6 people now, and we have 2 more people starting in the summer. Over the past year, we've hired 3 more scientists, and the 2 who are starting are a software engineer as well as a director of business development. Although it took us much longer than expected to assemble our team, we think we've found the best possible people, and we're super happy to be working with them over the coming months and years. We're also happy to announce that Alex, my co-founder, has recently received his visa and will be arriving in Canada at the end of the month. He is, of course, Ukrainian and has been living in Poland for the past couple of years. So we welcome him to Canada when he arrives shortly. In terms of what we're looking for in terms of help, we are still looking for an independent board position, to fill an independent board position. If you know anyone who has a pharma background, has potentially some board experience and would be interested in molecular modeling, please let us know. We're certainly looking to find the right fit for our company. We're also looking for introduction to potential customers. If you know of any pharma companies or biotech companies who might be interested in molecular modeling, we'd be very happy to speak with them. We're happy to share more milestones with you in our quarterly newsletter, and looking forward to connecting with you guys soon. Take care. Bye. Hello, eFund. My name is Anthony Feyesh. I'm the
Hi, it's Jeff from Claris Healthcare. Here to give you an update on how things have gone in the last year. On May 31st, we closed off our 10th fiscal year at Claris. And I've got to say that it was a pretty good one. I think probably the easiest way to summarize it is with this graph. As you can see, we've had a 40% increase year on year in our top line revenues, and this continues a trend that essentially took off during the COVID epidemic. Obviously, we're very pleased with that. Most of the growth in sales has come from our social isolation solution, Claris Companion, and in that case, in sales B2B to social care organizations across the United States. This growth has been far in excess of what we have expected or planned for. However, our growth in our remote patient monitoring program has not been as strong as we expected. So overall, the growth is still good. We still have a way to go to penetrate our remote patient monitoring business. There are some other exciting developments that have occurred in the last fiscal year, not the least of which is that we have now signed a deal with TELUS Health for the distribution of our social isolation solution across Canada in a B2B market. It will go out under the name TELUS Social Connect, and you should start seeing that. We hope they will take it to direct to consumer as well, but that's in early stage discussion. Another significant deal that we signed this year is a pilot program with a multinational company called Maximus. They will be doing a pilot of a totally new way of approaching senior care, starting in Calgary. If that pilot is a success, they intend to roll it out through all their divisions worldwide. So we're quite excited about the potential for that. Meanwhile, in the United States, we have started moving from county level governments to state level governments. And in New Jersey, Florida, and Georgia, we are now talking directly to the state level government for purchasing of our social isolation solution for senior care. This means that the orders coming in, the B2B orders coming in, should scale up to be quite a bit larger in the coming year. So we've got a lot of exciting things in the pipeline, a lot of growth going on. The company has been growing well in the last year, both in terms of sales and in terms of the team. We're now at 10 full-time employees and a few part-time employees. We expect to add a couple more this year as we grow. Despite the somewhat gloomy outlook for investment in the coming year, we don't think that we're going to need to go out and raise any more money in the short term, thanks to having closed a $1 million convertible debt instrument very early this year, in which eFund participated. And thank you very much for that. Your ongoing support at Claris is very, very much appreciated. Going forward into the 2023 fiscal year, we are planning on a 2.75 million top line revenue. About 65% of that we're expecting to be B2B, Claris Companion or social isolation, largely to these state level governments and social care agencies across the United States, but with growing sales in Canada through our TELUS partnership. About 25% of our business will be our remote patient monitoring. Again, that has not grown as quickly as we'd like, but we believe we have now found the correct market niche for our product and expect to see some growth in that area. The last 10% will continue to come from our direct-to-consumer sales. This continues to bump along, growing slowly, but providing very high margin and excellent long-tail revenue. So we expect to see that continue. So in summary, we've had a very good year. We're expecting another very good year. eFund's funding and joining in on our convertible debt has allowed us to plan for a future in which there may not be some additional investment money coming in, but we will still be able to go through and show some continued growth. So again, thank you very much for your participation in Claris, and we look forward to bringing you a lot more good news in future.
Hey everyone, my name is Faizan and I'm the founder and CEO of LetHub. So LetHub is an AI leasing platform for rental property managers that rents out properties 10 times faster than an actual leasing agent. For a quick update, we've done pretty well in the last 6 months. We've grown 10% month over month, including MRR and customers. And our customer lifetime value to customer acquisition cost is around 8. Typically you see like a number similar to like 3 or 4 in a SaaS startup. So we're doing pretty well in terms of cash, and in terms of the way we do business, we get upfront cash from customers. Our demo to close ratio is around 18%. That's the main KPIs that we monitor. There's others, but these are the top ones. Reasons to celebrate? Well, we raised over $1 million, so 1.25 approximately so far in a year or so, and then we've also increased in valuation. We've 7x'd since the time we started raising or we started the company, and then in terms of MRR, we've 8x'd as well. So that's really good progress in terms of raising money and keeping cash positive. And also we've released a new product and we call it self-showing log boxes. So essentially people can now enter a rental property without even picking up the phone or waiting for someone. They'll book through the LetHub portal, they'll get selfie verified, like selfie and an ID verification happens, and then they can enter the property, see it for themselves, and then move on. So that's a really good product to launch in the US and Canadian market, and we've already sold over 100 lockboxes. Key drivers of value for us have been content and highly customized emails. And our product team releases a new feature that customers want every 2 weeks. For what we're asking for eFund for help around would be mostly around intros to any kind of funds for the next round later this year. If you know a fund or know someone who knows a fund, please you can email me or intro me. That'd be great. We've also launched a service called vacancy.com. What it does, it helps people find renters, so pre-qualified, pre-vetted renters. So if you have a house or a condo, a rental, or know someone who has one, please let me know. We have a database of around 10,000 people looking for a place at any given time. So we'll give you access. There's no charge at the moment, but there will be in the future to find you a tenant. And again, thanks for taking the time. And if you have any questions, my email is faizan@lethub.co.
Hello, I'm Sahar, co-founder and chief science officer at Solaires. Let me tell you a little about our key performance metrics and wins. These are our current key performance metrics to date. The number of sales and partnership leads, which is 100 at the moment. The number of letters of intent signed, which is 1 as of today. The number of ink bottles sent to customers, which is currently 19. The number of companies that have provided feedback, which is now 5. The total money raised in our current pre-seed round, which is $846,000 to date, and the total funding received, which is over $7 million at the moment. These have been our reasons to celebrate lately. Solaires made it to Next Stream 3.0 in Campbell River, which based on our performance in the program could provide from $400 to $600K in equity funding. We were also selected by IRAP to participate in ICAP, the International Co-Innovation Action Program, which could provide up to $50K in funding for international expansion of our innovation to support our first pilot manufacturing process in Greece. At the moment, we have raised $846,589 on our pre-seed round, and we will close it by the end of June. We now have a lab space at the Vancouver Island Technology Park, which fits our needs. And we're working with their engineers and facility manager to get all the permits to renovate the space and set up our lab. We signed an LOI with Bright Solar in Greece to test and improve our ink for inkjet printing and potentially make a 20 centimeter by 20 centimeter solar panel in the next year. I would also like to tell you about other smaller wins which we recently had. My co-founder and I attended the NREL Industry Growth Forum in Denver, where we met with multiple investors, mostly VCs, to be considered for the next seed round. We were also present at Intersolar Trade Show in Munich, Germany, where our CEO met with multiple partners and attended interesting conferences. Solaires was present at MRS, the Material Research Society show in Honolulu, where I met with potential customers and research partners. I also attended SDTC Leadership Summit 2022 in Ottawa to build connections with other Canadian entrepreneurs. We have received insightful feedback from potential partners and are currently working to refine our ink. Our ask for eFund and its shareholders are, if you know of someone who has used or secondhand lab equipment, such as glove box, fume hoods, spin coater, hot plate, and solar simulator, please let us know. We're purchasing equipment for our new lab space. Please reach out to us if you have any questions. Thank you.
Hey folks, Matthew Smith from Mazuma Go here. Giving my quick update, very quick update. It's a busy time for us, so I'll just run through it. So growth in Canada has been great. Big things this year. At the beginning of the year, we changed our pricing, and that made a huge difference to our revenue growth because we were really struggling to find the right model for our system. We made three new sales hires, and we really focused on in-person construction conferences and events, and found that we've been really successful in actually like getting out there on the ground and getting involved with the community in construction. In Q2, we launched API access, and right now we're just working on dual approvals and accounting integrations. Another thing missing from there is we're working on sending money with credit card. So just more features to unlock a broader audience and hopefully moving up the ladder into sort of like larger enterprise construction. Later in Q3, we'll be doing some more sales hires to sort of accelerate that growth once we have those new features. And then we'll be adding payroll, bill pay, enterprise kind of automation features for those Canadian customers. And so like, what are the big learnings there in Canada? Well, we realized that we need to own 100% of a customer's wallet. And in order to do that, we have to sort of support all the types of payments they're doing and integrate into the systems they use today so that there's automation in place so that they have one application to go to do all of their payments and they don't need to use other applications. And so that's kind of the mission that we're on with the Canadian application. And we do need to scale our sales team in order to scale the growth. We found that like those in-person events and really talking to these construction companies is really important, especially as we move up the ladder to those enterprise customers where we want to capture 100% of their wallet. The US is unbelievably promising. There's a ton going on, but basically Q1 we've just been building like crazy. Q2 we're still building like crazy, but we signed a channel partnership with an accounting firm that deals specifically with construction. So really been focusing on kind of making those one sales that gets 100, and where we can kind of provide those banking services to their customers. So signing channel partnerships. So we signed one channel partnership with an accounting firm. And then in Q3, we'll do a public launch. The great thing about the US application is that we have cards, we have real bank accounts, we have built-in network effects, and it's just like so much easier to use than the Canadian application. Like I'm sure many of you have used the Canadian application, and some of the things, especially with connecting your bank account and sometimes making transfers, there can be delays, and it's kind of all based on the Canadian banking system. In the US, we've been able to do cards, bank accounts, instant payments, and the checkout system is a lot more flexible just because of the technology available in the States. So we're unbelievably proud, and I'm unbelievably proud of the application we've been able to build there. It's sort of like the Canadian application on steroids almost. Like it's a bit crazy. So we're super excited about the launch for that, and obviously onboarding all these customers with this channel partner. And of course, I'll have more updates about the growth on that and the revenue that we'll be able to pull out of it later this year. But anyway, that's a quick update from me. Thanks so much for your time, and take care.
Good afternoon, everyone. Arbutus Medical has technology that converts DeWalt tools into sterile drills for orthopedic surgery. It's an example of what we call frugal innovation, and one that's helped patients now in 39 countries worldwide. I last presented an update a year ago to the eFund AGM following our seed round. And with that funding, we've executed a significant business model transformation and found product market fit. We're now focused on a beachhead, trauma center emergency rooms in the United States. And we're addressing a pain point that these ERs face, treating trauma patients who need a pin placed in their leg as part of a treatment called skeletal traction. We discovered a problem, and that's that staff are actually wasting 30 to 45 minutes per patient gathering drills and other supplies, partly due to cost barriers. And these are delays that can cost large hospitals hundreds of thousands of dollars per year. Our solution is a complete procedure kit for skeletal traction, which saves time for the hospital, avoiding costly treatment delays. This is a razors and blades model. We provide our FDA-cleared DeWalt drill at no cost and then sell consumables. We bundle our patented sterile drill covers into the kit, which then locks the hospital into our drill. We launched last year, and in terms of key metrics, we've secured 8 customers representing $550K US per year in recurring consumables. We saw a wave of accounts close in Q1, which gives us some confidence we're starting to build flywheel momentum with our contract sales force. We've over 70 deals in the pipeline on pace for 2 million ARR by year end. We posted a record-setting revenue quarter in Q1. We've already beat that in Q2, and our consumables revenue is growing 40% quarter on quarter from Q1 to Q2. Now, the real important thing here is that we're building a valuable customer base. Our 3-year plan is to launch additional trauma kits that we can sell to these same customers and increase account value by 2 to 3x over time. So in summary, over the past year, what we've done here is really transform our business model, developing a new razors and blades recurring revenue stream growing at a healthy rate, and we're de-risked with IP and regulatory clearance for this line. We're raising a $1.5 million round now that will allow us to hit 30 customers by year end, 2 million in ARR, and put us in a position to reach cash flow positive toward the end of 2023, setting up a Series A. We just launched the round this week with initial commitments representing about 600K, and we're looking to finish this raise by the end of July with terms listed below. We're looking for half the round to come from existing investors and half from new investors. eFund's pro rata share will be approximately 15K, so my ask is for you to support eFund to invest that amount or more. Please reach out if you're interested to invest personally, or if you have medtech investors in your network that may be a fit for Arbutus. If you're interested to learn more, please get in touch with me, and I look forward to speaking with you. Thanks for listening.
Okay, all right. So those of you online, we haven't forgotten about you. Jackson is here. He will be doing the random network breakout rooms. So enjoy yourselves, and we will enjoy ourselves here at Jericho 10 Club. Thank you.